JT here, and welcome to the Huddle. The Huddle is where I sit down with successful people from the world of sport and coaching. It's to learn more about their journey to greatness. Why do I have these conversations? Because success always leaves clues. I want to take a moment to thank you, whether you are watching on YouTube or on Facebook, or whether you are listening to the audio on the podcast. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And here's my friendly reminder to you: the mind is like a parachute, it works best when it's wide open. So, my challenge to you is to go all in on this conversation, to remove any distractions and get laser focus on the here and the now. And I guarantee you, you will gain a valuable nugget of wisdom that will not only help you succeed in sport, but more importantly, in the game of life. I thought that because the holidays are fast approaching, I thought I wanted to do a solo episode that really celebrated life and allowed me to share with each and every one of you three special gifts that I have received from my loved ones. And the interesting part about today's conversation is they can be seen as gifts, but they weren't always perceived as gifts. So I'll share it with you. We'll get kicked off right away. One of the gifts that I have received from my beautiful wife is the gift of discernment. So in the past, I would share ideas with my wife. And being someone who is a creative, who can be impulsive and often likes to just share ideas, I would not really judge whether it was a good idea, a bad idea, or positive or negative, but just an idea. And when I would do this in the past, I would share an inspired idea with my wife, and it was received in different ways. You know, sometimes she would offer a different perspective. Sometimes she would offer a just a different vantage point. And it was interesting as I've sort of become more aware of, my perception of things, that I would view any sort of counter or any different perspective as criticism from my wife. And it's taken me a lot of reps and sets and working on myself and developing my mental muscles where I've actually learned that she actually has the gift of discernment. And when she shares the gift of discernment with me, it actually challenges me to stop and think and to see things from a different perspective. And it's been interesting that as I've learned to celebrate and receive this gift of discernment from my wife, it's actually strengthened our relationship. And how it's actually showing up in our life now is that whenever there is a potential opportunity in our lives, whether it's professional, whether it's personal, whether it's in my coaching practice, whether it's through my role with Football Ontario, when I am presented with an opportunity, the first thing I do, because I know I have a tendency to want to say yes and absolutely and okay, let's do it. I actually take the opportunity. I'll thank the person for presenting the opportunity to me. And then I take it right back to my wife and I ask her, are we good with this? And from that simple question, it prompts us to have a deeper discussion, you know? And I find just getting into that practice and asking that simple question, are we good with this? Really allows her to share that gift of discernment with me. And it allows us to best determine if the opportunity is right for our family in this current moment. So thank you to my beautiful wife, Alicia, for sharing the gift of discernment with me. The next gift is from my son, and it is the gift of persistence. So, one of the interesting things with kids is that as they get older, it's interesting how much of their unique gifts, talents, and abilities start to shine through. It's since I've had kids, I've really understood the idea that, we're all special snowflakes to a degree. And my son has always been very driven. Like he's very much a introvert. He, just to give you context, when he was 2.5 and his sister was first born, he would get up and bring himself to the washroom at night and put himself back to bed. So he's always had that, that drive, that persistence, just that sort of ability to lead himself. Now, with that being said, he is very much like his father. When he has an inspired idea, when he has something that he believes in, he's all in. Like he's either all in or he's not in at all. So, in all fairness to him, he comes by it kindly and honestly. And this gift of persistence has been a blessing. We didn't have to get him out of bed, and take him to the bathroom when his sister was first born. It shows up today in our daily lives where I never have to ask him, did you put your contacts in? Did you brush your teeth? Did you make your lunch? Did you fill your water bottle? Did you, he just does that stuff because he's a routine guy. He's a regimented guy. He knows how to take care of his own business. But the interesting thing is that this persistence, at times, has also been a challenge in our relationship. When, there's an argument between him and his sister, which again, any siblings, as my beautiful wife reminds me, is part of the ebbs and flows of having a sibling, that if there is an argument, right, or they have a disagreement, we'll do our best to, stop it, but then offer a different perspective to the kids, like that, helping them the ability to see things from another person's perspective. The interesting thing here is that my son is so locked in to the way he sees the world that it sometimes isn't received there, right? Or he isn't open to receiving it. And again, that's that persistence, right? That I see the world in this way. So it's actually prompted me to become better at listening and to be actually more patient and understanding with him. Now, being fully transparent, there are some days I do it much better than others. Like anyone, I have my moments where I feel frustrated, irritated with when people don't see things like I do. But it's prompted me to become, again, more patient and understanding with him, to listen more, to talk less. And it's reminded me that his ability to get locked in and focused and to sort of stand his ground, it's prompted me to really become better at listening, to asking questions, and actually listening to gain an understanding of where he's coming from. So that persistence on his part has given me that gift of just coming from a place where I want to seek to understand him, as opposed to just having him understand where I'm coming from. So thank you to my amazing son for being persistent and sharing that gift with me and allowing me to become more patient and understanding with you. And last but not least, I want to thank my amazing daughter for giving me the gift of peace. One of the amazing things about my daughter is that she is so present. She will easily get lost in the moment. I could ask her right now to go get me something from another room, and she could be sitting right across face to face with me. And, more often than not, she comes, she'll get, if I ask her to get something, she'll come back with it. But there are moments as well where I'll ask her and then she'll just end up in her room playing. And as any parent can attest to, it's always an interesting game of patience when you ask your kids to do something and they don't follow through. um, but as I step back, I've realized that when she gets lost in here in the moment, when she's literally just stopping and smelling the roses, this morning I actually found her before school, just playing in her room in a box that she has, a wooden box that she's set up. And it's so interesting. It's such a good reminder. For myself, it's so easy for me to become, very future focused on, what's the next goal, what's the next objective. Let's get it done. Let's go all in so we can do it. But she reminds me, like, really at the end of the day, that being all in the game of life is being right here and being right now. And there is a sense of calm and peace when you really go all in and you're right here, right now. So I just want to thank my amazing daughter for giving me and sharing with me the gift of peace. So This week's huddle has been interesting. And my intention through this conversation was to show you that perspective in life is everything. That very often we are gifted with people and situations that really are just reminders for us. Whether it's to be more discerning, whether it's to be more persistent, whether it's to be more peaceful. And like any times, we all get sort of trapped into the quote unquote busyness of life. And we get fixated on future, we dwell on the past, and we lose sight that really at the end of the day, the only thing we are guaranteed is to be right here and right now. And it's a great reminder on the power of perspective. Identifying and focusing on the blessing as opposed to the barrier. And just want to remind you that, like anything in life, it's a game, right? Some days you're better able at finding the barrier. Some days you're better able at finding the blessing. But what I have found is the more you focus and the more intentional you are with getting into the practice of counting your blessings, the richer your life feels. The more you start to feel the love, the joy, and the peace that we all strive to experience in our life. So I encourage you, this holiday season to really focus on opening the gifts that are really going to move the needle in your life. So folks, like I always like to remind you in the huddle, knowledge is potential power. It's a consistent and focused application of great knowledge that actually creates greater results in your life. So my challenge to you is to take one of these valuable nuggets of wisdom and go apply it to your life today. And as I like to remind you every week in the huddle, you are deserving of greatness. You are worthy of greatness. You are greatness. And my only ask from these conversations, if it resonated with you, if it touched your heart, then please share it with a friend, a loved one, a teammate, just someone you feel that would benefit from listening to these positive, inspiring, and empowering ideas. The more people we have listening, understanding, and applying these simple principles to their life, the more blessed this world will be. As always, love having these conversations with you in the huddle. Have a blessed rest of your day.